The California Dream for All program is back, and most people that applied for it last year were super disappointed. So in this video, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know in order to take advantage of the program. And if you wait till the end, I'll tell you exactly how you can apply now and be ready for that lottery as soon as it opens. So the reason why this program is so popular is because coming in with 20% down makes a huge difference on your mortgage payment. In an example of somebody who's buying a $500,000 house, with a standard 3% down payment, you would be looking at a monthly payment of about $4,300. That same person using the Dream for All program would bring that monthly payment down to about $3,100. That's $1,200 in difference by using this program. So as you can imagine, it was super popular and we ran out of money very quickly. Now, CalHFA has made some changes so that doesn't happen again, and it's going to be a little bit more fair for people, but the lottery is a little tricky. So eligibility is the same as it was before. You have to be a first-time home buyer, and that means that anyone who's signing on the transaction has to be a first-time buyer and occupy the house as their primary residence. But one of the things that's really quirky that changed this time around is that at least one person on the transaction has to be what we call a first-generation home buyer. That means that your parents don't currently own a house, and if your parents are deceased, they could not have owned a house at the time of death. Now, if you're someone who was in the foster care system and you just don't know your parents, you get a pass. And even if your parents own a home now, you're going to be eligible for the program. Now, as far as qualifying for this program, it's going to be just as any other conventional loan. You're going to need to show your tax returns, your pay stubs, and your bank statements. As far as credit scores, if you're below 80% of the area median income, you can go down to a 660. But if you're not below that, it's going to be a 680 minimum credit score. Now, as far as that property, you can buy a single house, a condo, and even some manufactured homes. But make sure you check with your lender before you go out and write offers on the houses. So the program does come with income limits, so make sure you check those limits before you go out shopping to make sure that you don't go past them. In Los Angeles County, the income limit is $155,000. In San Bernardino and Riverside County, it's $149,000. And if you're looking in Orange County, it's $202,000 a year. Now, I'm going to put a link below on where you can check other counties in California and make sure that your income limits are good. So here's how the program works. You're going to take a silent second mortgage for whatever amount that you borrow up to $150,000 or 20% of the sales price, whichever is less. Now, that money can be used for down payment, closing costs, or both, but it cannot be used to pay off any debt or anything else other than down payment and closing costs. The really cool thing is that you don't make any payments on this mortgage. You just pay it all back at the time that you sell the house with that shared equity. So here's how the shared appreciation works. CalHFA actually breaks it down in two ways. There's one way to do it for people that are below 80% of the area median income, and the other way is for people that are above 80% of the area median income. In our general area, if you make below 80% of the area median income, you're probably going to have challenges qualifying for a house, so I'm not going to share that example. But if you do have questions, make sure you send me an email or connect with me and I'll be able to break it down for you. So here's how the shared equity works. Let's say that you buy a house for $500,000. The program would lend you $100,000 for your down payment and closing costs, and you would get a standard mortgage from a lender for $400,000. So then we fast forward to the future where you sell that house for $700,000. They're going to take back their original $100,000 and 20% of the equity growth, which in this example is $200,000. So the program would essentially take $140,000 back, and you would be able to keep the difference, which is $160,000. Now, this is where some people get a little nervous and they say, well, I don't want them to take my equity. But if you focus on what you're gaining rather than what you're losing, you're going to see the positive. You're going to walk away with $160,000 while you lived in the house and ultimately stop paying a landlord rent. And the really cool thing this time around is that they cap the amount that they can take back to 2.5 times. So that means that if you don't sell the house in 5 years and you keep it for 20 years and that $500,000 house is now worth $2 million, they're not going to take 20% of $1.5 million, which would be a lot of money. But they're going to take a maximum of 2.5 times the original loan. So in this example, the maximum that they would take back would be $250,000. So here's how you can actually apply for the program. The first thing you want to do is get pre-approved with a CalHFA lender. Once you're pre-approved for the CalHFA lender, you can register in their portal. Now the portal we believe is going to be opening in April of 2024. So you can get ready now and kind of wait. Once you register in the portal, there's going to be a lottery process. Now, if you're chosen in that lottery, you're going to get a voucher. And that voucher is going to allow you to reserve those funds so nobody else takes them. You're going to have a set amount of time to go out and buy the house and use that voucher. And once that time expires, your voucher will no longer be good. So you want to be pretty aggressive when you start writing offers using this program. So what can you do now? Well, you can start by taking that homebuyer education class. See, the last time around, there were so many people applying for that class that there was literally a wait list of almost 60 days. So if you're someone who wants to take advantage of the program, the class is free. I'm gonna have a link below on where you can register and take the class now. You can also meet with a loan officer and make sure that everything is already in place so that when that lottery opens, you're one of the first people to get in there. And the last thing you can do is have a backup plan. Because this program will be based on a lottery, a lot of people will be disappointed because there's just not enough funds to help everyone out. But there's a lot of other programs that can help you if you really want to buy a house. And remember, buying a house is always better than renting because it's going up in value, and at the same time, your payment's not going to change, assuming that you have a fixed rate mortgage. But your landlord is always going to be raising the rent every single year. If you like this video and learned something, make sure you subscribe to my channel and make sure you connect with me on Instagram to keep up with all the latest.